All right, we are officially rolling. So
Welcome to our podcast that's unnamed.
that we don't actually put out as a podcast, but
yes,
it's a video.
Everybody meet our favorite title queen, Glenda Knight Wall. Glenda Knight Wall.
Glenda Knight Wall,
Knight
right?
is my maiden name.
Mm-hmm.
The Knight Rider.
I wanted to keep it, so Wall's my married name.
GK
Nice.
Dubs.
Yeah.
Glenda Knight Wall with Artisan Title, who is they're our favorite people.
Yeah.
I mean, not only are you guys really good as a title company, but you're just good humans.
Yeah.
You're fun humans, and that's, as we've talked about, we value authenticity and people being good humans, and
So we actually go out to lunch.
Yeah.
We like that.
Uh-huh.
And what I tell my clients is, as they're choosing, we always like to give people options. And when I give Glenda's number out, I always say, Glenda saves my ass on a weekly basis. So maybe that's a good place to start. It's like, how do you? What are some common ways that you are saving people's asses on a weekly basis? Or okay, what does an escrow officer do? What is escrow? What is title?
Oh yeah.
Title insurance is required on any closing that you do, buyer, seller, and it's nationwide. But basically, title insurance is going to cover the buyer or the seller or the lender for any encumbrances, past liens, taxes, HOA, back liens, anything like that that's showing up on the property that might affect the new buyer. We are insuring the lender and the new buyer that you are getting clear title. So you're not getting title from with taxes on it or liens or some kind of weird boundary line agreement, anything like that. It's really important. It's not just part of your closing costs. We do it to make sure that, you're covered when you buy your new house.
Yeah, and you guys have your own title mill where you go through and do all that research to make sure.
Correct. We do everything in-house. We don't source anything out. Some people do. Some other bigger title companies will source it out of the country. I think that's fine, but I think also having somebody to call and say, hey, what is this on the property? What can we do about it? Is just huge, right? I mean, because we can take care of it in-house. And we have incredible title officers with so many years of knowledge, and our owner, Dave Delahunty, is a genius. I mean, he is the guy if you need land acquisitions, you need, commercial property. He can do all the really hard stuff. He's amazing. And he's just a really good guy.
Yeah.
And Dave.
Title insurance is the unsung hero of the whole real estate process. Because say you want to buy let me throw out a hypothetical scenario. You want to buy a house, you make an offer on it, you're under contract. You get to a week before closing or something, and some mechanic comes out of nowhere, or an HVAC guy comes out of nowhere and says, hey, I did work on this house 3 years ago and never got paid. We're filing a lien. You guys are the ones that help make sure that's all taken care of, make sure that the house can be passed and that no one's going to come in down the line to say, I have rightful ownership to this house. Correct. And if they do, the title insurance policy is what helps fight that, right?
Exactly, yeah. And I mean, we've even had scenarios where it's been a death situation, maybe a parent passes away and somebody just files a lien on the property. I mean, this is public record. You can file anything on anybody's property, right?
Yeah.
But doesn't mean it's valid, doesn't mean it's right, but we can do it and we can check and make sure there's no fraud on it. The people who are on title are the people that are supposed to be selling the property, and it's
which has
important.
become a whole big thing recently, especially up in Park City. A lot of people pretending they're the owners of it's happening a lot with vacant land in Park City, which you worked up there. Have you seen some of those situations where?
Not personally, but I've heard of them. I haven't dealt with it myself, but yeah, I have heard of a lot of things. Of course, you're dealing with big money up there. And nowadays, with everything being electronic, I feel like it's a lot better. Back in the day when you had to actually go to the county recorder and get a stamp on it, and there was no way to check if somebody had filed something right before you're going to buy the property. I mean, you could go back in the books, but just nowadays things are streamlined a lot better.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's good.
So it's funny every time I talk to clients and I explain title insurance to them, and I say, and I bring your name up. It's funny because from my end, the insurance portion, I mean, that is kind of effectively what a title company does, but I feel like you guys do so much more than that as far as your team. If you're a buyer or a seller, you've got your agent, maybe you've got a lender, and your title company. I feel like if you look at that as like the hub with spokes coming out in a wheel, to me, the title company feels like that hub. I mean, that's where we go to sign documents when we're done.
Right.
That's the title company is who makes sure everything gets recorded with the county. All the money goes through the title company. So it's like we talk about title insurance, but can you talk about some of the other things besides just the title insurance, the things that you guys do that save our asses and make the actual deals go through?
Yeah. Well, if we're doing our job correctly, in my opinion, it's sight unseen, right? Like, if you have a closing that comes in and it is just like bam, 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 you may not know about any of the back things that we've done. Like, if they have refinanced, when rates went really low, people were just refinancing like crazy. Well, the lenders don't always remove those old liens off of title.
Oh.
They will eventually, but they're not quick about it. So if you refinanced and 2 years later you're selling, there might still be that lien from when you refinanced. So we'll take care of that, and we don't even always let you guys know. We just deal with it. But title and the legal real estate go really hand in hand. We need to make sure all the legal documents are correct. They've been signed, title has been deeded out properly, and so there's a lot of stuff. We're dealing with property taxes. We got to make sure that they're not selling a house and there were 5 years ago taxes didn't get paid. Would be a claim of title insurance, at the time, because title insurance is actually it is insured from the date of recording back.
Yeah.
So it's not like your car insurance that goes forward; it goes in reverse.
For anything that would have happened before, that could file a claim for.
Yeah. So it's in the past. So that's important to know.
Yeah. And then, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, and also there's like, water rights. Like if you're selling a property out in Tooele that's got some wells and water rights, and some of that stuff is really tricky when you start getting into it, because now you're dealing with the division of water rights. You have to make sure that, and they are not good at, they just show you what's on there, and they're not necessarily going through and making sure this owner deeds to this owner deeds, So, but title insurance, we don't insure water rights. Water is not insured, but we do help on the back end as far as the legal side of getting it
to make sure you're actually getting it. Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Now, something that I think a lot of, especially like earlier buyers, like first-time buyers, and even a lot of experienced buyers don't quite understand is who pays for which title insurance policy. So the seller pays for one that covers the buyer typically, right?
Correct.
Unless something weird got negotiated.
Correct.
And the buyer typically pays for one that covers the lender. So
Correct.
if you're buying a house for cash, you don't have to buy, the title fees are insanely low if you're only buying
Absolutely.
for cash.
There's no lender's policy, just an owner's policy.
Yeah.
And in the state of Utah, it has to close at one title company.
Yeah.
Because that's where any money that comes in, because we have a trust account, any money that comes in has to be dispersed, and we have to be issuing a policy.
Yeah.
And would you say typically that closing would happen at the listing title company? Typically, it could go either way, but
It can go either way. That's kind of our unspoken word of.
Just because you've already done all the work to get the PR.
Yes, exactly. Because why now go and make somebody else do everything that you just did?
Yeah.
You So typically it goes with the seller's title company, but
Now,
it doesn't have to.
Now, typical cost for a title policy, it's based on purchase price. What's the rough percentage of the purchase price?
It's like it's 1%, I would say. Yeah. And so it's not a lot, but it could save you thousands if you didn't have it. It's so important,
Yeah.
to make sure it's done correctly.
Yeah.
So also, if people love to feel smart and feel like they've shopped around and done their thing and gotten the best deal possible, and they're winning the day and winning the thing, and I got the lowest rate and I got the lowest. We always find this with lenders as well. Like, hey, this billboard says I can get this percentage on a whatever, and I'll read the fine print.
Yeah.
Can you maybe speak to title insurance fees, and are they regulated, and what makes, if people are shopping fees,
Yeah.
what does that look like?
So you're right. So the title policy for all title companies are regulated, and
Yeah.
they are all within a few dollars of each other as far as the policy. Where you're going to save your money is in closing fee, which is where our closing fee is really low for what we do, but we're small, so we
Yeah.
don't have huge overhead like some do. And to be honest, yes, anyone could do a good job for you, but I think it really comes down to experience.
Yeah.
I think it comes down to knowledge, and then just really good customer service. I think that's it. And like, you guys are my favorite.
Stop.
It's true. This
So
is
embarrassing.
the dream
Sing,
team
sing.
right here. It's true, but I would, bend over backwards for you guys, or for any client. And I feel like that's where you kind of lose it a little bit when you have a bigger place.
Well, and that's very much, you have driven to other counties to help me close clients that couldn't make it to places on a pretty regular basis. Dave has stayed with me at the closing table until 9 p.m. before with
Yeah.
closings that didn't go quite right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Showed up, drove down to the nursing home.
Yes.
For my
Me
my
too.
client.
Nursing home.
Yeah.
And I remember being caught in the middle of a movie theater, got a call that somebody's lender didn't send something right. Glenda drove from the office to my niece's hospital where she worked, met her in the parking garage to get something signed. Like,
Amazing.
Yeah.
My
You're the
first
best.
deal, I think I called you at 10 o'clock at night. The first time I got like an offer in, I'm like, what do I do next, Glenda?
disclaimer, she only does this for our team. So if you're an agent out there, don't expect that shit.
I do have a question, though.
Mm-hmm.
So, we know that you're amazing and that you make life easy on us. As agents, what can we do to make life easy on you? Like, how do we make the transition or the transaction go smoothly?
So I think one thing is send me all your addendums. That's huge.
You mean so you don't have to email me personally asking for them at the last minute?
Well, it's just I want to make sure I have the whole picture. Right? I want to make sure I've got every piece of the puzzle. No, yeah, definitely it's going to be that. I think sending me your listings, I think that is a huge deal. Listings come in, I can pull the title, I can pull HOA, I can look at it, and I can tell you as you're doing the listing that if there's anything on the property, and then it gives us time to take care of it before it's an issue.
Yeah.
Because say you get a cash deal and it comes in and like, we want to close next week, and then like, holy cow, we have all this stuff on the property we still need to take care of. So I think that's important. Also, you guys are really good communicators, and I think that is key, and that's something I would say to every agent. Communication is so huge, because you're having discussions with the buyer or the seller that I'm not privy to. Like, hey, I'm going out of town, I'm leaving the country, I'm things like that, or I have a really big time job that I just can't step out of the office, and we have got to close 2 o'clock on a Monday, you know? And I think just knowing that ahead of time is really helpful.
Yeah.
I think that.
All right. Actually, yeah. One question I had was, Joel, you basically asked this, but
Ask
what's
it
the
better.
differentiation between a good company and a good title company and a bad title company? Like, are there I mean, the searchers make a big difference, the title mill, but like, maybe give us a horror story of something you've seen that's gone through a bad title company. Don't have to name names.
Let's see, I have to think about it. Well, again, customer service, lack of response. Because we have to work with other title companies all the time by, if we have splits. And, I'll have people that just go radio silence, And I feel
It's
like...
not an important thing. It's
Yes.
just,
And they just don't communicate. I feel like that's a huge deal. Or paying attention to detail is everything in title insurance. Like, I mean, it is right or it's wrong. There's no gray. Like, one little, misspell of a word or transposing. Okay, here's one I remember. So we had a closing. We were the, closing on it. The lot number was transposed.
oh,
It got recorded on the neighbor's property.
it's not great.
Yes, so then I got the deal. I'm trying to sell this house and there's no deed on the property. It looks like it's free and clear. It's not.
Yeah.
And so, we had to, it was a nightmare trying to get that fixed, but we got that fixed. So, I mean, it's huge. You need somebody that's on their ball, that they can, keep their eye on the ball, make sure that they're doing everything they're supposed to do. Because in title, we're working with the lender, we're working with the agents, we're working with the other title company and the seller. So all the way around, you need to be able to balance all those balls in the air at the same time.
For sure.
And definitely multitask. I mean, it is huge. So
You guys are awesome at that. I love that I never have to worry. It goes over to your court and just like, yes.
Well, and that's the thing too. I
Easy.
feel like because you guys work with so many different people, you're working with the county, you're working with lenders, you're working with agents, you're working with buyers and sellers, and it's like, I feel like if I need education on something, you're typically my first call, so thank you for that. And I'm sorry for that.
no,
but-
never. I always tell you guys, call me no matter what.
Yeah.
Doesn't anytime. And because I understand too, like in title, we're kind of a 9-to-5 job, so to speak. But you guys aren't. You're there on the weekends. You're doing stuff, at nights. You're doing stuff. That's why I always tell you, please call me or text me. I mean, if there was some reason I absolutely couldn't do it, I would let you know. But just being able to pull up stuff like I'm trying to write this stuff and I don't know who to list as the owner,
Yep.
And, I think that's important. And, again, like, a lot of times somebody will tell you, I'm selling this house and, my wife and I are getting divorced, but I'm selling it. Well, that may or may not be true if she's on title, So it's important to know because all of a sudden you're going to go all the way through with this contract and she needs to sign, and so those things are important. And then understanding, like, husband and wife is typical joint tenancy, meaning that it's rights of survivorship. So
Both of them own 100%.
they both 100% of the home, correct?
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna wrap up, but let's get some quick sound bites. If you had to give one piece of advice to buyers, what would it be? Regarding title, like what's the most important thing for you from buyers?
Having a good lender, a good agent, a good lender, get pre-approved, and then as far as title insurance, we'll order the title and we'll look at it, and I would let you know if there's something on title. If you had a if you were scratch that. I was going to talk about
You're good.
FERPTA.
That's what editing is for.
Um,
FERPTA,
I was going to talk about FERPTA, but maybe we could do that on another one.
foreign investment in real estate.
Yeah.
It's for people that aren't. Yeah.
We should definitely do that another time.
Yeah,
Yeah. That can be its own
That
episode.
could be its own thing,
Can
right?
I-
Yeah, I can't believe he's
yeah,
still-
your guy's still trying to get his money back.
Jeez.
At what stage should people hit you up? At what stage in the process of buying or selling a home do we reach out to title?
Well, I would, if you're an agent, I would do it at listing or even before if you have a potential listing, especially if it's a listing that, like has a bunch of HOA, a master and a sub HOA or anything like that.
Or a family trust with 6 different signers.
100%, because then it'll give me time to look at it and figure out, exactly how we need to navigate this typical situation.
So the sooner the better. As soon as you get the deal going, hit up title.
Because it's not a big deal for us. We can search it and then we have it in our database if we ever need it in the future. So it's always good to do it right away.
All right. If you had one piece of advice for agents in regards to how we interact with title, what would it be?
Same thing. Give me your listings right away. I would say send me your addendums. Just put me on the email with the other agent. Like if you have stuff going back and forth, just here's this last addendum, keeping me that. And then let me know a little bit about the person, like if, is this someone we need to kind of hold their hand a little bit more?
Is it an engineer or a lawyer where you're going to read every word of the closing docs?
And I'm good with that. I'm good with everyone being like that. It's just the more I know, the more I can kind of tweak my closing to make them feel more comfortable.
If they're a first-time buyer or an experienced investor or whatever.
Yeah, if they want to talk about their dog the whole time, we'll do that. But I just feel like, and that comes with experience of learning to read the room, kind of to get to know, because I'm there to kind of, it's not lost on me all the work that you guys have done to get to the closing table with me. When we finally sit down and we close, I realize this is one of the biggest purchases anybody's making in their life. Some people do it more than others, but this is a huge deal. You're dealing with your credit, your family, you're moving, all of this.
Emotions run high.
It is so stressful. So I try to make people feel comfortable and just make it the best experience that can be.
Awesome.
Yep.
I don't have any more questions. You answer everything for us.
Anything we left on the table or on the field? Or wait, no, we left it. What do you?
Did we?
Things on the
I
table?
have
Or you,
one
Any
thing.
balls we
I
threw on the
have-
field?
I have one thing. These guys are your dream team.
Stop.
I'm not joking. They are great. They're cool guys, but they're knowledgeable. So, give them a call.
Thanks, Glenda.
Yep.
All
Glenda,
my-
you're the best.
Well,
my
this has been our
clients will do.
podcast.
Woo!
Use good agents. Use good title people. Don't get fucked over.
Bye.
That's kind of my official sign off, right? Don't get fucked over.